Hey guys, it's a new day. Welcome to Comancheep build day 800. No, just kidding. It's been what, 3 months I think since I started on this? No, I started in January. Today is the beginning of March. It's like March 6th or something. I'm losing track of the days. I was at a Jeep meeting last night and I said, I'm going to Moab next month. And they said, you realize it's March already, right? I was like, what? Seriously? Holy crap. That's how much I've been working on this thing. I've been losing track of days. So like 12, 14, 16 hours a day on this thing since January. So anyway, let me show you what I was working on last night. I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't really feel like taking video. So, mounting this shock. You would think mounting a shock would be pretty simple, right? Well, not when you move the axle forward 12 inches. It becomes very complicated. But I made these shock hoops. And I started off making some towers. The towers didn't work out. So I wasted 4 hours of my time, and then it didn't work out. So I ended up making normal shock hoops. So what it does is it goes through right here, goes up and over and down in here. So right here a tube comes out and it's welded to the frame here, and then this welds to that. Goes up and over, and normally you would do the same thing on the other side here, but this is where the coil springs typically mount, and so you know that's pretty solid. So I'm going to weld the other side to that, and then right in the middle is where your shock mounts, right there. So you're probably thinking, why not just mount it right here somewhere? Well, it's for the up travel. So I needed a lot of up travel, and you have to have a long shock to get a lot of down travel. So I needed the shock to mount up in here. So that's that side. The other side got a little more complicated because of this York air compressor. It was a very close fit. Over here I leaned it in quite a bit, and then when I came over to do this side, I did this side second. I was like, oh dang it, I'm gonna have to put this on a different angle because of that York right there. So that didn't quite work out, but you'll never notice. It's very similar anyway. So what else have I been working on? Let's see. So I was thinking, I was wondering where to put the battery, and there's not a whole lot of room inside here. So especially if I have to, I'm gonna have to chop this here probably. I don't want to, but I'm probably gonna have to because of the tire is so big. So there's not a lot of room for batteries up there. So I'll show you what I was working on too, was mounting the battery under there. So it turned out pretty good. I was struggling with where to put the battery, and I thought it would look really good right over here, or I thought it would be great over here out in the open, easy access, but it just didn't look good over there. So I ended up putting it right under the fuel tank. It's a little harder to get to, but there is a couple inches of room there, and if you need to, you can unbolt it and slide it out. This battery box actually came with the CJ. It was a dual battery box, and I just cut it in half and reused it. And then I had some scrap tubing left over from a bin that didn't work out or something, so I just cut that and welded it to that battery box, and it's gonna work out perfect. So the battery is over here on the passenger side, which will offset my weight. I also put the fuel over here on the passenger side, and the reason for that is the exhaust comes all down the driver's side, so you got all this heat and exhaust. Why won't that stay focused? You got all this heat and exhaust coming from over here, and then all the battery cables and all of the fuel lines and stuff will run down the passenger side. Let me show you these brackets that I was working on last night, or yesterday. 4 hours of work I had in these things. They look like little chipmunks. But 4 hours of work in those things, and it turned out they just weren't going to work out. So these were some shock towers that I was trying to make. And by the time I got it all built and stuck in there, I realized the shock was hitting right there because it was at an angle. So went with the conventional shock hoop, which will be stronger and better anyway, so I'm glad I did. But just a lot of wasted time whenever you spend so much time and effort on something and then it just doesn't work out and you gotta start all over again. Let me show you what I'm working on right now though. I'm working on the jackshaft for the steering. So because of this motor, the gearbox and the steering shaft can't make a straight line because there's just too much crap in the way, specifically the headers. So what do? You put a third U-joint in there. So you've got this joint here. I'm going to have a joint here, and then of course the joint on the steering column right there. And in the middle somewhere you have to have a heim. So the heim will sit here and support the middle section, and I guess they call that a jackshaft. So it'll come down here, turn, and come down here. And I've just about got it worked out. I need to spend a little more time with it. The angles have to be just right to clear right here. And you see this a lot too on drive shafts. Whenever you have a complex buggy or whatever and you can't fit the drive shaft in a straight line, you can do that as well. Of course the components are a lot bigger and beefier. Specifically this piece right in the middle here is a lot bigger. But anyway, that's how you do it on steering. I'll show you that here in a minute when I get it finished. Check this out guys, this is called Double D. So you got the female version and the male version. This is 1 inch, this is 3/4 inch. And whatever you do, do not use old female Double D. Seriously, I had a piece of this new and it worked just fine. Well, it did. Now it's not going to work. So this is the old one, and I had already welded it on here, and the problem was that the inside was all rusted, so I had to sit here with a file and just file that down for a while until that would fit inside there. But it does so nicely now. So let's go put this thing together. And the reason you use Double D in steering components is because of the way it's shaped. Double D. One D, the other D. And when you put them together, it's not like two pieces of pipe where they can slip. It's solid. And you can either weld that, like I did here, or you can have it as a slip section where it slips in and out so you can get your components on. I have used two different versions. So the CJ and the MJ, I've cut them all up since I needed more U-joints, and I was able to, in Comancheep style, repurpose all of this stuff, so I didn't have to buy anything new. And I even, Jeremy had an old heim joint lying around, and that's what I used for that. Let's go check it out. Alright, so this piece goes here. I made a little notch right there, if you can see that. That's the factory piece right here that came off of the steering wheel. Sorry, the original. What am I trying to say? Right here. This piece used to be right here. So I matched that. The bolt actually will hold it into place with that notch in there. Ah! You just have to make sure to line up the notch before you put the bolt in. Now this slides back and forth so that, oh no, I forgot the Heim. Having all kinds of issues today. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. Okay, so the Heim goes on there first, and then this piece goes on there, and then this piece goes in here, and then this bolt goes in here, and then this slips in and out so that it can go in here. Oh, I'm gonna have to turn the steering, and I'm standing on the steering. So that's fun. Come on. Ah. There. Of course, I gotta weld the Heim in right here from the other side. But check that out. Now that is cool. I've never done anything that complicated. That's complex. Let me weld that up and we'll turn the steering wheel and see how it works. One thing I want to do first though, in the original steering joint right here, there's a rubber joint right here. And I'm sure that's to like dampen the steering a little bit, but I don't want that with what I'm doing because, as Jeremy pointed out the other day, he said if you ever lose steering and you have to force this thing to manually steer, then you're going to wear out that rubber joint. Or if it gets too hot and just melts, then you would have no steering because it would just let loose. So what I'm going to do is weld it right here to keep that from ever coming loose. It's a lot further away from the headers now than it was right up here, so that's good. Everything clears, so yeah. Alright, watch this, guys. This is super cool. I've turned you sideways, so if that bothers you, just tilt your head. Isn't that neat? I can't even see it, but I know it's neat. I gotta be over there turning the steering wheel so I can't even see what's going on, but I'm sure it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I like it. It's cool. Now, what's next? So next up, I want to finish this ugly bumper. It looks ugly now, but
I answer quickly as I can. I'm always learning more.
Alexa just likes to talk whenever she feels like it. Anyway, I'm ready to fix this ugly bumper. It won't be ugly for long. It's going to be a pretty sucker. So, the problem is, I can't take it off anymore. Well, I could, but it would be a giant pain in the rear because where I tack welded it was right here, which was fine and dandy until I then tack welded some other stuff over the top of it. So to get to those tack welds would be a giant pain. So I'm going to see if I can do it with the bumper still on. That's going to be a giant pain too, so I don't know. Maybe I could get a plasma torch up in there, but I would end up cutting all kinds of stuff that I didn't want to cut. But anyway, this bumper needs to get trimmed up. You can see some of the lines I've got going on there. The ones on the edge are going to be even further, probably maybe a little more slanted, and then cut that shorter. It really depends on where the tires are going to end up. So let's put the tires on, and then I'll work on that. I was wondering what was limiting the steering when the tires are on. It's hitting the bumper. So if you can imagine, this is going to be turned a little more than that, and then it's going to be able to come upwards 6 inches. And as it comes upwards 6 inches, it also arcs in who knows how much. So oh, it's starting to look sexy already, you gotta admit. That's looking pretty good, and I'm still not done yet. I got that whole bottom section to cut out. And you thought it was gonna look like a piece of crap. Oh yeah. Check it out, dudes. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty stoked about this bumper. I really like it. So it started out as a rectangular piece of tube and got transformed into this, so that's pretty cool. It also serves 4 different purposes, so for a bumper to serve 4 different purposes and still look pretty good, I think that's awesome. So it holds the winch. It holds the winch fair lead. It holds the leaf spring perches. And it had one other function. Oh, it holds the steering gearbox. So, yeah. If you have something negative to say about it, just keep it to yourself, punks. I know everybody will, or at least those people that always leave negative comments. You know who you are. But anyway, I like it. Now the problem is, I welded these pieces of wood in here. So now I gotta figure out how to get those out of there. The good news is they're wood. The bad news is they're wood. I don't know. I'll get them out. What do you think? What's the best way to get that out of there? My first idea is sledgehammer. Let's try it. I don't know, that wood's pretty tough. Alright. Next idea. Idea number 2, reciprocating saw. You guys do not want to see idea 3. So let's hope this works. This wood blade sucks. Attempt 2.5. Oh. Ha-ha! Success. Just took a combination of the sledgehammer and the wood blade. Reciprocating saw. Ha-ha!